Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about journaling, how I got into journaling, you know, how it's helped me and how it can help you guys too. Even more so, how to get into journaling and some prompts for you guys just in case you've been trying to get into journaling and you've just been a little stuck. So let's get started. Okay, so the main reason why I journal is just to get my thoughts out on paper and be visible. I know that a lot of people journal for very different reasons, and that's the first tip that I have for you guys, is to figure out why you're journaling. What is it about journaling that really just connects with you, resonates, and what you really want out of journaling? That's the most important thing. Once you figure out why you're journaling and what you want from it, that'll help take you to the next step. The next step would be to figure out what you want to accomplish from journaling. For me, I wanted to be able to decipher my thoughts. It's very hard for me to decipher how I feel, and when I write it out on paper, I can then say, okay, this is everything that I have. This is how I feel. Okay, now how do I express myself? I have a hard time expressing my emotions because I don't understand them. So I don't understand how I feel. So journaling helps me in that way. So definitely just figuring out what your purpose is in journaling and staying consistent with that purpose. First thing I would say is to make sure that you guys actually have a pen and paper on hand. We're in such a digital age these days where people are using so many different apps and social medias to kind of get their thoughts out, but I think a pen and paper is so therapeutic, and it's one of the reasons why journaling works so well, and it's definitely the key to journaling. So definitely make sure that you're using a journal or at least a piece of paper and you're actually writing it out. I think that is a big component of actually journaling. So no cell phones, guys. The next tip that I would have is to not hide from yourself. Don't hide your thoughts. Don't hide your emotions. If you're not going to go into journaling being honest, then there's really no point. This journal is just for you. It's your private journal. So if you're not going to be honest with yourself, then there's really no point. Don't waste your time. So just make sure you're being honest. That is okay. It's okay to write down thoughts that maybe are not necessarily the greatest thoughts. That's completely fine too. You don't have to hide from yourself. That's so important to just be honest with the journal. Write down all your emotions and make sure that your journal stays private. If you live with someone, just make sure that they understand that this is your private journal. I showed my boyfriend my journal, and I told him, like, hey, this is my journal. It's private and don't look at it, period. But he understands. If you're living with someone that doesn't understand your privacy, maybe lock it up, put it away, or don't tell anyone about it. But I think more importantly, just make sure that people understand that, you know, it's your own personal journal. My boyfriend has a journal as well, and we just both agreed that, you know, it's not something that either of us should be looking at. Your thoughts are your own, and they should stay that way unless you choose to share them with others. No one should be purposely taking your thoughts from you. Another tip I have is to make sure that you're consistent with your journal. Make sure that you are writing in the journal every day, or at least every other day, however you decide you want your consistency to be, whether that be every day, every 2 days, every Wednesday, every week, whatever you want that to look like. Just make sure that you're staying consistent. Now, along with that consistency, a lot of people say that you should write in the morning time, or you should write right before you go to sleep. I find that it doesn't matter when I write, as long as I actually write. As long as I'm consistent, the time does not matter for me. I can write in the morning, I can write in the afternoon, I can write at night, and that's completely fine. It works for me, because I also think that we don't always wake up or go to sleep in the same mindset or the same mind frame. There are times in the morning where I am just in the happiest mood and I want to write, or I don't want to write, or I go to sleep and I'm just like, I'm over this, good night. Whenever you feel like writing is the perfect time for you. Okay, now getting into the actual journal portion. The biggest thing I would say is to start by brain dumping. Now, if you don't know what brain dumping is, that's okay. Brain dumping is simply getting everything out of your head. So I just immediately start by writing every single thought that I have in my head. So if I'm upset, if I'm worried about groceries, if I'm worried about I gotta walk the dog or feed the cat, I just get everything down. Every single thing. Even if you don't think that it's important, just write it down, because it's in your head and clearly it's something that it's taking up mental space to think about. So just get it down. There's no rules to this, and so I think I find it best to just get down everything that I have going on in my head and go from there. Now, with that being said, after I finish brain dumping, I take a moment to read over my thoughts, and I actually pick out something that I want to elaborate on. Now, by that I mean I look at all the thoughts and I see, okay, this is something I can get done. Those are things that are going to get done today. What is really my purpose for writing today? What is it that I want to elaborate on? Something that I don't understand and I want to understand. I'll pick that topic and I'll go ahead and elaborate on it, because without elaboration, they're just thoughts. And that's what is stressing you out, because you haven't had time to think about it, because there's so much going on. You haven't had time to think about the thoughts and elaborate and figure everything out. That's where the stress comes from. And so when I elaborate on each thought, sometimes it's only one thought that I have on the paper. Sometimes it's all of them, really. And it may take me some time, but I am able to elaborate on all of them. And I think that it's important that you take the moment and don't give yourself a time frame. However long you want to write, however much time you have to write, as long as you finish what you wanted to get out, as long as you get out what you wanted to understand about writing, whatever it is that you are confused about, stressed about, as long as you have able to elaborate on it and say, okay, I've understood what's going on here, I'm moving on, it definitely helps a lot. Now, I wanted to give you guys some prompts. I have, I think, about 8 of them, and this portion is specifically for my boyfriend because he has recently taken up journaling, and you know, he said that he found it hard to kind of start the journaling process. And so I remember when I was first starting journaling and I found it hard to, I would start with dear journal, yada yada yada, and I'm like, dear journal, like, am I in a movie? No, dear journal what? And then you just kind of sit there for a while, like, do I talk about my day? Do I talk about this? You just don't know what to elaborate on because there's so much going on in your head, and I think that's why brain dumping helps so much. But I'll give you guys some prompts just to kind of start you off. If you just want to elaborate on something specifically, here are some prompts. Okay, so the first prompt I have is, where do you want to be 5, 10, or 15 years down the line? So elaborate on, you know, your future. Where do you want to be 10 years from now? What do you want to be doing? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself having kids? Do you see yourself married? Do you see yourself not married? Do you see yourself, you know, successfully enjoying your career and walking in your purpose? That's definitely one that I've used 1,010,000 times, just because the future can be stressful. Just thinking about the future can be stressful. So it's definitely a prompt that I've used from time to time. The next prompt that I have is, what worries you? Is there something that is literally stressing you out? One thought that you just haven't had the time to really think about and delve deeper into. Is it, what's stressing you about it? Is there anything that you can do to change it? And how do you go from here? The next prompt is, what is something that currently scares you, and how do you think you can get over that fear? So that's an important prompt for me, because we don't realize enough that we're scared of things, and that the reason that we're acting a certain way or being a certain way is because of fear, and how we accomplish that fear. If you can think about the amount of things that would not have happened if people were fearless and were not scared of certain things, I really think this world would be a much better place. The next prompt that I have would be, what is my purpose? Am I walking in my calling? And recently I discovered my purpose and my calling, and it has been amazing to discover that about myself, be honest about what I want to do with my life, and just really walk in your calling, honestly. And I think this would be a great one for my boyfriend. I really want him to think about this one in its entirety. Everyone needs to take a time to think about their purpose on this earth, what they really want to do, not for anyone else but themselves, what it is that you love to do, what is your passion. Are you waking up every day and doing one thing that gets you closer towards the goal or your passion or your dream in general? What are your dreams, and are you working towards them? I think that's so important, and it's a prompt that I think I've used every day this week when I've written, and it's helped me a lot to just break down barriers in my mind that have been built for so long. And it's just been great, guys. I definitely encourage you guys to use that prompt. The last one I have is to write a letter to someone that you are not able to confront yet about an issue that you've had for a long time. I think as humans, we try to push things off, and we try to forget things and pretend like everything's okay, but those emotions manifest in different ways. And until you can confront the person or confront your emotions about what happened or, you know, what transpired, it's just going to sit in the back of your mind and just rot. And that's what you don't want, because it's only affecting you. So write that letter out. Maybe talk about the things that have hurt you, why you believe that you haven't gotten over it yet, what would help you to get over it, and maybe one day you'll be able to share that information with the person that you're having this issue with. And even if not, at least you've got it on paper and you're able to just see, okay, boom, maybe you can just make peace with having it written down on paper. You never know, but I think it's an important prompt. Alright guys, well that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one was definitely a personal one for me. It's definitely, journaling is definitely something that has gotten me through the toughest of times, and some writing just in general has gotten me through very tough times in my life, and I know that it has helped so many people and can continue to help the world. If you are looking to start journaling and you don't know how, and these tips, you know, have helped you get started, leave a comment down below. Message me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to help. I want to thank all of you guys who have been messaging me and commenting and liking my videos and watching them. It's just been great to just get my thoughts out there. I really love being able to share what I've learned with others, and continue to learn and grow from everyone that, you know, writes me and tells me, oh hey, you know, I was dealing with this, or I'm dealing with this now, and I can share, you know, myself as well. I do want to get some fun videos up for you guys, so I will have a couple fun videos up, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!